He was producing wealth. So technology without free markets doesn't go anywhere. Israel had technology, but it didn't have free markets. It had technology because the military, especially military intelligence, produced a lot of capabilities. But unless you open it up so people could start their businesses, these incredibly gifted young men and women who come out of the army or the Mossad, they want to start their startups. Well, they can't. If you have to pay 70% tax, it's not going to go anywhere. They're going to go elsewhere. So one of the things that I did the minute I became prime minister and then finance minister was to enact an enormous number of reforms, like several dozen reforms, that opened up the economy, reduced the tax rates, reduced spending, and cut the bureaucracy. It was a big challenge. How do you explain this to the people of Israel, So it took about 2 weeks to format an economic plan, and then I had to explain it to the public, and I said this. I described my first day in basic training in the paratroops, and the commander lines us up in a big field, the whole company, and he says, we're going to do a special race. You, he points at me, Netanyahu, you pick up the guy next to you, put him on your shoulders. And the next guy, you put the guy next to you on your shoulders, and so on. And I got a fairly big guy on my shoulders, about my size, and I could barely take 2 steps forward when he blew the whistle. The guy next to me was the smallest guy in the company, and he got the biggest guy on his shoulders. He just collapsed on the spot. And the third guy was a big guy, and he had a relatively small guy on his shoulders. He took off like a rocket and won the race. And I said, in the international world, all national economies are pairs of a public sector sitting on the shoulders of a private sector. And in our case, the private sector was collapsing under a public sector that got too fat. Mm-hmm. So we have to put the fat man on a diet, and we have to give a lot of oxygen to the thin man below. That's called tax relief. Mm-hmm. And we have to cut all the barriers to the competition, all the regulations that prevent that guy from running forward. This became known as the fat man, thin man. Taxi cab drivers couldn't recite it. They still couldn't recite it. And that's true. That's essentially what we ended up doing. What I ended up doing was to trim the public sector, help the private sector, and remove the barriers to competition, which I still have to do. I fight regulation with machetes all the time.